to get a refocus. And through that, looking at it, we've seen that we still had this plant set pretty high on price. Low cat was $20.65. That was originally set that high because of just how expensive the liner was in the beginning. But with some different things we've been able to do, we've been able to bring that production cost down. So we're going to set it at the same price as the proven winner 2-gallon Barbary are. So that takes it from the 2065 to 1620. So that hopefully should really help, get people more in line to bring this in. On the PWs, we're very limited. We hardly have any available right now, but we do have 2,000 of these available. So, you have a Barbary that is certified sterile. It's the only one in the country at this point that is certified sterile. The proven winners, they list as sterile, but they have no real certification to back it up to ship into certain East Coast states. But so hopefully you can get back out there with this new price and get some excitement going. We got 2,000 of them. They all look like this. They're beautiful, ready to go. They're in that worry-free pot, as that program. So hopefully that'll turn it on. All right. Next is Rosy Glow. I want to show you these. We're starting to get some growth. It gets going. There it goes. So you can see there the new growth, really has those swirls in it. You get different shades of pink to red. It's more of an upright grower. It's very tough, very drought tolerant, really good for some tough installs, can take heavy clay soils. It's probably one of your toughest Barbary out there. We have 900 of them available. Whole crop looks like this. They're looking really good. Now is the time to really push these out. And, these would be great for install jobs, instant effect. They're not overgrown by any means, just right where they need to be. So we wanted to show you these. They look really good right now. So next is Franklin's Gem. So this is the new crop. The flush continues to push out. It's Franklin's Gem is a very low grower. It's very good hardiness. It's a zone 4 hardy, so we can really go up there. We can get in areas where velvet probably wouldn't do real well. So, but Franklin's Gem, it grows low to the ground. It's more of a spreader type. We're just kind of crawling into it. We got a few hundred here that we're putting on. The rest of the crop should be ready here shortly. Probably in another couple weeks, we'll put 1,000 or more on. But we had a little group of them there we were able to throw on. So take a look at Franklin's Gem. And just, we're still looking really good on 2-gallon velvets. We got plenty of those coming down the pipeline. But this is an alternative to that. Blonde Ambition grass is next. You can see there we're starting to get the little, I guess people call them helicopter dudes on the top. So they're very unique grass that sterile seed head is horizontal. So it's very unique in its presentation. They're really starting to load up. I noticed today a lot more of them have really opened up over the last day or so. It is in the American Beauties program. It is a native type of grass, so great for that. It's very tough, can really plant it anywhere. We got 250 of them on, and then we'll just keep rolling into the next crop as it comes on here, but that's ready to go. Carl Forrester is next. Wanted to show you there, we're just now turning into our crop. We put 500 of these on. They're rooted really well. They're really pushing out hard. I think people will be happy with them. But we wanted to show you the photo. It could be considered by some people a little light. I think we're right there. I think we're fine. Every day we put on a little more growth. I think we're just ready to go. That's why we wanted to move into these. This is a summer scaper, low grass, low maintenance, very tough, very adaptable. It can really fit a lot of different. You can go formal with it. You can go naturalization with it. It tolerates all types of conditions, either wet or dry. So this is one of the toughest grasses we grow. Shenandoah is next. All right. So yeah, Shenandoah. This it gets a little bit of coloration in it, definitely as it goes along. You can see the photo in the center, you barely see the hints of reds and purples coming on. But as the season goes on, you'll get more and more of that coloration. It's kind of a plumy type open plume. When it does bloom, it is considered a native. It's in the native series. Zone 5 hardiness. So we're good for hardiness. I wouldn't go really, really far north with it, but it does very well through Ohio, and it should do well in Chicago area and stuff. Very tolerant, kind of in between the Cheyenne skies and some of the other grasses. So it kind of has that plains grass look to it a little bit. And Cheryl was able to get 500 of these on from the next crop here. So yeah, Cheyenne, Cheryl just said Cheyenne skies were probably the week of the 10th. I don't see why we can't be putting on Cheyenne sky the week of the 10th. We're very close. So if you got anybody hanging on there, they need it for installs. If they can just give us another week and a half or so, we'll be there. The crop looks great. There's, I don't know what there is, 3,000 there or better. They're very consistent, everything. It's just not quite enough to put it on yet. So. All right, hydrangea bobo. We continue to pour on here. Now is the time. Bobo is one of the first ones out there to start to get its flower heads formed up, and it'll be popping out there. We got really good shape to them. We got some good availability. This is a 2-gallon here. We'll be rolling into 3s here. Big numbers pretty quick here too. We got some on, but we'll be rolling big numbers on here very shortly on the 3s. So we're ready to go. We shouldn't miss a beat on Bobo. That's usually the kind of the landscape staple that's become out there. Almost every install job gets a Bobo. And now is the time to start getting them out there. If they're kind of retail landscape, want to have something that shows, Bobo is definitely one that you want on a retail lot for instant effect, because it's one of the first ones to open up. So now's the time. Limelight, or I'm sorry, Little Lime, excuse me. So Little Lime here, you can see here the 3s, how nice and full they are. More compact than Limelight. It is not a real tight dwarf like Bobo or one of them would be. That's been a concern with people out there. It is a fairly aggressive grower, but it does stay shorter, definitely stay shorter than Limelight. But if they really, really need a tight dwarf, they got to stay in like the little quick fires and the little lime, or maybe even some of the arborescents that are more compact. But this one will get about half the height as a Limelight. We're quite a ways away from blooms forming on it. This will be later, maybe towards the end of July. We'll start seeing some bloom heads form on them. So. Pinky Winky, that's another one that's usually a landscape staple. Typically, we don't see flowers really forming. You can see a few on there. We won't really start forming the main flowers here for several weeks, but it's kind of in between there. It's in between the early and the later ones when it starts to bloom. It will definitely open up pure white, and then it starts fading into the pink colors. as the summer gets into late summer towards early fall. So that's something to you remember on that, that a lot of these pinks and reds, they do open white when they first start. So if you have somebody new to the hydrangea world, you need to make sure that they understand how these hydrangeas work. But it doesn't take long for that color to come in. All right, juniper old gold, great looking crop of old golds. Moving into some newer crops here. Cheryl was able to get some more on, 400 of them. I won't spend a lot of time talking about old gold, but we have an excellent crop of them. They really look fresh, really nice color. You know, these should be something that if somebody sees, they'll pick them right up. They don't look tired at all. I know sometimes some of the re-wholesalers got some tired stuff from spring. This would be something good to bring in, freshen things up. Physocarpa Tiny Wine. So you can see there, we've showed you these before, but we were able to get another 1,000 of these going. They're looking really good, really filled out. That's my winner of the day for Physocarpa. That's our nicest looking Physocarpa out there at this time. The other ones, we're still waiting for some more growth to push out to get more Physocarpa on, but we do have a real good number, excellent color. You know, hopefully you can just focus on this one. This would be my suggestion, is focus on this. We can really stay into these for quite a while here. We're going to be very limited on the other varieties at this time. Probably looking another 2 to 3 weeks before we can really get into some decent numbers on Physocarpa, just because of how far forward we sold into them. But, you know, if the conversation comes up, let's focus on Tiny Wine. Bruce Bale Tiger. This is another one that this is the time of year. This is when it really shines. It's kind of deceiving the photo. It's in a 7-gallon socket, but it's really a 5-gallon pot. If you really look close, you'll see that the pot's quite a bit smaller. We just used the sockets because we had them. So when you do have that out, it looks you know, a lot more full. But yeah, Cheryl can update. Cheryl will pull it out of the socket and update the photo for you. But we got 400 of them. We were able to get some more of these on. You know, one thing with roosts in general, you do have to watch where you plant them. They can run a little bit under the ground and send up other shoots. So it's not really made for a compact area. You need a little bit bigger area to grow them in. You know, when they defoliate, they really defoliate in the fall. So there's just going to be a couple sticks in that pot come fall. All those bracts fall off. That's how it does its thing. But it is a native. It's just selected out of native stock where they could get the color. So true native should work in a lot of ranges for us. Very adaptable, very hardy. So let's see what we can do there. Salix, Purpureana, they're just looking fantastic. I know everybody needs Hikiro Nishiki. We're out right now. We're still several weeks away from any Hikiro Nishikis, but you know, similar growth pattern, actually a little more compact than what Hikiro Nishiki would get. Obviously not the same colors, but looking real nice. It's got that nice bluish hues to it. Very dark purpley stems. Really a neat plant. Obviously, with being a willow, it can handle heavy water areas. It also has excellent drought tolerance. But if you got a real bad area, wet area, you know, these would do excellent. So we have 150 of those on right now. All That Glows, Viburnum. So you can see there, yes, that is a picture right now. We're in the bloom. So we're starting to bloom out there, and then we'll start to set berries here shortly. This is one of those plants that's that looks like a dentatum, but it's not a dentatum. But don't be concerned with that. It's actually probably even tougher than a dentatum is. its native range, it grows like it comes back on the edges of mine sites out west. It can take very, very tough conditions. I think this is kind of an overlooked viburnum. Proven Winners introduced it several years ago, thinking that they could beat out probably like Chicago Luster, or maybe even, phase out a Blue Muffin, although Blue Muffin's still very popular. But this will give you the same look, much more glossier foliage. I think a much better plant. It's not going to get probably as heavy of a berry as Blue Muffin would, but it still will get berries, a lot of blueberries on it. You see the value there of that 3 gallon is just excellent. So see if you can promote that one a little bit. Next one is completely different. This one's called Little Ditty. This one here gets, you can see the photo there. It's going to be starting to bloom anytime. This is a summer bloomer. And then it gets these, so it'll have like a reddish bloom, which is really cool. And then when the fruit starts to mature, it's a very unusual seed pod that is orange. And I mean, it is orange. And you can see, you can probably find a picture of it on the internet if you look, but it gives you all summer long interest, which is really neat. Very compact grower, very tough plant. You can go all the way up into zone 3. They're really starting to turn onto these quite a bit, I hear, up in Canada. Starting to really use a lot of them up there. I know upper part of the East Coast, they're really starting to turn onto these. They really like them. They got excellent deer resistance, so that's a really good thing. So it's one of these fringe viburnums that's in a category all by itself. It's a Casnoides, so not very many of those around. But take a look at it. It's really cool, really neat. We got 400 Little Ditty. And last but not least is Winifred. So you can see here, we have a real nice plant pushing out there. Winifred has also a real glossy foliage. That's pretty much its claim to fame. Later in the season, you'll start to get blueberries that'll contrast against the fall color. Excellent fall color, real nice reddish fall color, very clean foliage, almost no disease or insect issues with this plant. Very tough with that. It is a type of native, so can go to a lot of native ranges. And we have 250 of these. I think we'll be rolling more soon.
I'm guessing 2 weeks.
Couple weeks here, but that's the crop today. Looking real nice, just at spec. We're tipping 24. So don't overpromise. I mean, it's bigger than the 18, but it's like an 18 to 24. We'll get some more height here shortly. But all right, I think that's it. Cheryl just told me a little bit ago we have 3 Hemeracalis that we were able to roll. We don't have any photos for you, so we were able to get some purple Deora, some rosy returns, and some pardon me's on. So 500 of each. We were able to roll those on. They're rooted good. They're starting to scape. So we're back in business on those. We've been out of those for a little while. And remember, we still have lots of Stellas and happy returns. So, but that gives you some more of the standard colors. I'm sure Jeff has some of the others at Avon, but so more of the landscape ones that we grow here, and those should be ready to go.